Now, France says it will call on the United Nations Security Council to make UN envoy Kofi Annan's peace plan for Syria obligatory. The French foreign minister said Mr. Annan's plan should be enforced by invoking the UN's Chapter 7 provision. This allows the Security Council to authorize actions, including the use of military force. Such a move would need the backing of Russia, however, which has previously vetoed several Security Council resolutions on Syria. But there's a war of words between the United States and Russia over their country's support for the opposing sides in the conflict in Syria. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has emphatically denied Russian claims that the US is helping to arm the rebels after she'd accused the Russians of sending attack helicopters to the Syrian government. Our Washington correspondent, Matt Frey, joins us live now. Matt, so what is at the core of this?
Well, do you remember that famous reset button that was very theatrically lavished a few years ago by Hillary Clinton and her Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov? It's the sort of size of a red comic relief nose, and it was supposed to reset the troubled relationship between Russia and America. Well, it didn't happen. Syria is perhaps the sharpest thorn in their side. It's been like that for some months, but it became a lot worse yesterday when Hillary made that accusation that you mentioned earlier, that the Russians are sending attack helicopters to attack the Syrian people. The Russians have denied this. Then today, Sergei Lavrov fired back on a visit to Tehran, Syria's other big ally, by saying that the Americans have been arming the Syrian rebels. Also not true, said Hillary Clinton. Listen.
I would emphasize that the United States has provided no military support to the Syrian opposition, none. All of our support has been medical and humanitarian to help relieve the suffering of the Syrian people. So rather than having a long-distance debate with my colleague with whom I work on so many issues on a regular basis, I would urge that we follow the lead and request of Kofi Annan.
The question is, John, why Hillary Clinton has said these things at the moment. And I can only really imagine one thing. I think the Americans have given up on the Russians as working together with them in the Security Council over some sort of new resolution against Syria, perhaps the imposition of sanctions. So they're either trying to shame the Russians into something which, quite frankly, is not going to work, or this is part of the election campaign here in the US. In other words, the administration sounding more robust on an issue on which it is getting an awful lot of flack from the Republicans. I will say one thing very briefly, John, that it is as unlikely that the Russians are going to give up their only friends in the Middle East, and that would be Syria, as it is for the Americans to give up on Israel. So expect a lot more rhetoric in this particular crisis.
Matt Frey in Washington.